Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Please don't forget, if you are new to this channel, please like, subscribe as you watch. Thank you. So today we're going to be dealing with how to make a dress jacket. So we're going to start. So as usual, we get our dimensions right. So I'm using a shoulder of 15. And remember, for shoulder measurements is a horizontal measurement, so they are divided by 2. So we're starting with the back. 15 divided by 2 is 7.5, so we'll just add 7.5, then we'll add ½ inch for joining allowance. Now for this particular dress jacket, we're not putting a shoulder pad, so that is why we're just doing it this way. It doesn't have a shoulder pad. So what I usually do is that anytime I want to put a bust dart in a cloth, I usually make the back armhole longer than the front. So for this back armhole, I'm using 9 inches. Then I'll also mark her bust line, her bust point, which is 10.5. Then I mark her half length, which is 17. Then I mark the hip distance, which is 10 inches from the half length. That's what I'm using, which is 27. So these are my dimensions. So we continue. For the bust, I'm using a bust of 40. So I add 1.5 inch. Then for the waist, I'm using a waist of because this is a dress jacket, I don't like, for jackets the waist is not supposed to be so tight, and her original waist, as in her normal waist, is 34. So at this point I'm going to be using a waist of 35 for her. So I'm going to be putting a dart at the back. So I'm going to give a 2-inch allowance for both dart and sewing allowance. So that's it. Then the hip, I'm using 40. Of course, since it's a jacket too, we're not going to use the actual hip. Don't forget, her normal hip is 44. I'm using a hip of 46 for her, and keeping 1-inch allowance for sewing. So we mark all these dimensions, and either, if you can use your hand or you can use your hip cuff, and you just take it down. Okay, so that's that. Then we come back up here again, and we take more dimensions. A jacket, I'm using 2.5 for the width, and of course it's a full back, so you use ½ to 3/4 inch, right? Then you do your shoulder slant. I'm not going to slant, since it's a jacket, I'm not going to slant it too much, so that it would have some elevated composure about it. So we cut. Now, I forgot to add something. The length of the jacket, I'm not using her knee length. It's going to be like an inch or two below her knee Now I used her knee length is 43 inches. 42 inches, sorry. So I'm making it about 44 inches. By the time I'm done, everything will be 44 inches. Now for this one, I'm going to add pleats to the bottom of this dress jacket. It's a dress jacket with pleats at the bottom. So I made it 37, and then I'll still add 10 inches pleats to complete it. So by the time we're all done, the dress comes back to 44 inches, which is okay for her. Okay, so this is the back. Now that we've gotten the back now, so now we want to get our front. Okay, so for the front now, we are going to keep a 2.5 inch distance for the front. Okay, 2.5 inches. Uh-huh. Okay, so 2.5 inches. So we've kept a 2.5 inch extra in front now. So now we want to get more dimensions. So we mark the width of the front of the lapel. So at this point now, so this is how we do it. We take it to 4 inch, then we take it back to 3 inches. You can see that you take it to 4 inches, then you take it back to 3 inches. Then after you do that, you mark where the lapel will stop. I think I want it to stop at her under bust, which is 14.5. So we'll mark it. Then we mark where. So this So we're going to keep a space of okay. So this is a 1.5 inch space, right, from the center front. I'll be center back. So we now taper it to this space. Then we'll now take this same measure. We'll taper this from it was 2.5 here. Now we'll taper it down to 1.5 towards the under bust. Then we take it straight down. The same measurement straight down. Okay. So now we cut. Now remember I told you that if anytime I want to put a bust dart, I usually make the back armhole to be lower than the front. So now when I want to cut the front, I'll remember to add back my 1 inch. So the back armhole distance is 9 inches, the front armhole distance is 8 inches. Then cut. Okay, so this is how it's gonna be. So by the time we're done, this is how it's now supposed to be. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so now we want to cut the lapel. For the dress, we're using a plain fabric for the lapel, and at this point we're using black. So now we want to, I've already placed it on top of the, under the fabric actually. So we cut. Now, the lapel is going to be half of the fabric at the back. You can see, about half. Then the lining will complete it. I'll show you how. So we cut. Okay, so now we are going to cut the lining, right? So this is how to cut the lining. A very easy way. Place the lapel this way. Remember that this is a jacket dress, so that's why the lapel fabric is the same length with the main fabric. If it were a normal jacket, we'll make it 1 inch shorter. So take that into consideration. So now we want to cut the. So what we usually do is that I place this on top. I mean, you fold your lining. The lining folded already. You fold your lining this way. Okay. You place your fabric on top this way. Then okay, so you make sure that the lining is about 1 inch into the other half. If you understand what I mean, you make sure that the lining allowance, as in the folded one inside, is 1 inch into it. 1 inch into it, then you cut. Why you need to do that is because you need a joining allowance to join lapel fabric to the lining. So that's why you need to make sure it's 1 inch into before you cut. So that now we're doing it this way so that we eliminate, so that there won't be much allowance. We just need 1 inch allowance for joining, and that's it. So now we cut. So that's it. So we have cut the jacket. We will show you after we have. So now what we want to do now, we want to put our interface, we want to stay it, put we're going to use hairstay. We're using nylon hairstay, thick nylon hairstay for the jacket so that it has structure. So that's what we're going to use. So after we're done with everything, we'll show you how it went. So this is the outcome of our dress jacket. You can see how lovely it looks. So if you want to know how it was sewn, you can check my previous videos on my YouTube channel on how to sew a jacket. Then you'll see it there. So I hope you try yours. Thank you.